The film opens with a sweeping view of rugged mountains, their peaks piercing the sky. Becky and her husband Dan are climbing a steep slope, their faces glowing with joy. Recently married, they share a passion for adventure, particularly mountaineering. Accompanying them is Becky's friend, Lila, a thrill seeker who loves pushing boundaries. The trio thrives on danger, always chasing the next adrenaline rush. As they ascend, Dan's hand brushes against a bird's nest. A startled bird flies out, causing him to lose his balance. Secured by a rope, he dangles precariously, unable to pull himself up. Becky and Lila struggle to save him, but the rope fails, and Dan plummets to his death. The tragedy shatters their world. 1 year later, Becky is a shadow of her former self. She clings to Dan's ashes, drowning her grief in alcohol. Her life spirals out of control, leaving her father James heartbroken. Desperate to help, Lila, still bold and adventurous, visits Becky and proposes a new challenge: climbing a 2,000-foot abandoned radio tower in the desert. She suggests scattering Dan's ashes from the top, promising it will bring Becky closure. Though hesitant, Becky agrees, hoping to rediscover a spark of her old self. The two set off on their journey, capturing moments on their phones, laughing, singing, and reminiscing. Their carefree attitude nearly leads to disaster when a speeding truck almost collides with their car. They swerve just in time, hearts racing but relieved to be unharmed. Shaken but undeterred, they continue to their destination. At the tower's base, they encounter a grim sight: a dead goat being pecked at by vultures. Lila shoos the birds away and snaps a photo, posting it online with a caption about their adventure. The tower looms above them. They secure their ropes and begin the climb, the old metal groaning under their weight. The ascent is nerve-wracking. The tower's stairs are worn, and the wind grows fiercer as they climb higher. Halfway up, at 1,000 feet, Lila points out that they've reached the height of the Eiffel Tower. Becky, gripping the railing, feels dizzy looking down. Lila teases her by shaking the stairs, laughing as Becky's fear spikes. Despite the terror, they push on, driven by their shared goal. At the top, they celebrate. Lila launches her drone to capture the breathtaking view, and Becky, overcoming her fear, hangs off the tower's edge for a daring photo. They embrace, and Becky scatters Dan's ashes into the wind, feeling a fleeting sense of peace. For a moment, they're lost in memories of Dan, their laughter tinged with sorrow. But their triumph is short-lived. As they prepare to descend, a rusted stair breaks, leaving Becky dangling. Lila pulls her to safety, but Becky's bag, containing their drone, food, and water, snags on the tower's antenna, out of reach. Worse, their phones have no signal at this height. They find a flare gun and a small telescope in a maintenance box, but Lila advises against using the flare, suggesting they save it for nightfall when it's more visible. Becky's leg is injured from the fall, and Lila bandages it as best she can. They settle in, recording a vlog to pass the time. Through the telescope, Lila spots a distant car, but they're too high to signal it. Checking her phone, Lila notices her earlier post about the goat has garnered likes and comments, indicating their signal access closer to the ground. She writes a help message and ties her phone to a rope, lowering it to catch a signal. When that fails, she stuffs the phone into her shoe for protection and tosses it to the ground, hoping it will send the message once it connects. Through the telescope, they spot a man with a dog below. Becky hurls her shoe down to get his attention, but he doesn't notice and leaves. Lila stops Becky from firing the flare, insisting they wait until dark. As night falls, they try to rest, but the cold and fear make sleep difficult. Lila nearly slips off the platform, and Becky grabs her just in time. In the dim light, Becky notices a tattoo on Lila's leg, 143. The sight triggers a memory. Dan used to say 143 instead of I love you, a private code between them. Suspicion creeps in, and Becky confronts Lila. Under pressure, Lila confesses. She and Dan had an affair before his death. Devastated, Becky feels betrayed, but Lila's tearful apology leaves her conflicted. They're interrupted by the sight of the bag still hanging on the antenna. Lila, determined to make amends, volunteers to retrieve it. She secures ropes to the tower's supports and swings toward the antenna. After a daring leap, she grabs the bag but struggles to return. Using a selfie stick, she hooks the bag to the rope and climbs back, only for the rope to snap. Lila falls, hanging lifelessly below. Becky, horrified, peers down and sees Lila caught in the ropes, injured but alive. With immense effort, she pulls Lila up and they collapse in exhaustion. They drink the water from the bag and write a distress note, attaching it to the drone. But as they launch it, the drone's battery dies, forcing them to reel it back. Becky dreams of Lila falling to her death, birds tearing at her body. She wakes in a panic, realizing it was a nightmare. Or so she thinks. In the morning, she climbs higher to charge the drone's battery using a solar panel on the tower. She descends, and they send the drone with the note towards civilization. Tragically, it crashes into a car and breaks. Days pass, and Becky's condition worsens. Hunger and dehydration take their toll, and her leg injury festers. She asks Lila for her shoe to try throwing her phone again, but Lila doesn't respond. Looking down, Becky sees vultures circling a figure on the antenna. It's Lila's body. The realization hits. Lila died during the fall, and Becky's been imagining her presence to cope with the loneliness. Grief overwhelms her as she records a final message to her father. Believing she won't survive, a vulture lands, drawn to the blood on her leg. In a primal act of survival, Becky kills and eats the bird, gaining enough strength to keep going. Meanwhile, her father James grows frantic. Unable to reach her, he investigates her last known location and heads to the desert. Summoning her last reserves of courage, Becky climbs down to where Lila's body lies. She places her phone in Lila's shoe, whispers an apology, and pushes her friend's body off the antenna, ensuring the phone lands safely. Hours later, James arrives at the tower. He spots Lila's body, now being handled by police, and fears the worst. Then he hears a faint cry, "Dad." Becky, weak but alive, clings to the tower. Overcome with relief, he helps rescue her, and they embrace. The film closes with Becky's survival, a testament to her resilience. Though scarred by loss and betrayal, she finds strength in her will to live, honoring Dan's memory and her own unbreakable spirit.